Greetings. We continue today in part 2 of the opening of the sixth seal from the book of Revelation chapter 6. We closed yesterday by mentioning the cause and effect. And it is the words and actions of those upon the earth that reveal the effect. The entire world population is encompassed in the descriptions of Revelation 6:15. The kings of the earth, the magistrates, the military leaders ranking over 1,000 soldiers, the wealthy ones, the mighty, the dynamic ones, every slave, and every free man. Revelation 6:15 and 16 states that at a point, the entire world population hid themselves and begged for escape from this impending judgment. This declaration prompts my mind to ask, how does the world's population know what's going on? The answer to this question will be given to us in Revelation chapter 7. And I don't desire to get ahead of myself. However, we cannot understand these actions without making and knowing this connection. For almost 3.5 years, a group of Jewish evangelists and possibly their converts are allowed to live. And they've been faithfully preaching the gospel. Matthew 24:14 declares the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. The entire world's population will have heard, but there will remain many who have failed to believe their witness. Even after these prophesied signs dramatically appear in the heavens as proof of the truthfulness of the message which they have refused to acknowledge. What are these astounding signs? Well, let's examine them a little more closely. Revelation 6:12 through 14 is one grammatical construction, compound, complex sentence as it may be. Therefore, the first 4 listed things stands as equals in that the action for each occurred without a reference to the time of the action, which means they could occur concurrently, that is the same time, as opposed to consecutively, one after the other. First, there's a great earthquake, one of 3 which occur in Revelation, here in 6:12, again in 11:3, and again in 16:19. The sun gets blackened, the moon gets bloodied, and the stars fall to the earth. Then 3 more things are added to the list which may be caused by any or of all of the first 4 things which we've just noted. The heaven is torn apart as a rolled up scroll. Every mountain is moved out of its place. Every island is moved out of its place. The first 4 things are aorist actives, while the last 3 things are aorist passives, which could certainly indicate a causal relationship of the former to the latter. There are multiple instances as we progress through this book where these signs are repeated with variations. Some try to make all of them one and the same, but many conservative scholars reject such a notion. Here God begins to demonstrate his active influence in the world which long ago gave him up for dead, or at least ineffective. Isaiah chapter 2, beginning at verse 8. Their land also is full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, which their own fingers have made. And the mean man boweth down, and the great man humbleth himself. Therefore, forgive them not. Now, what that means is from the least to the greatest, they were all involved in idolatry. Verse 10 says, enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of man shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. verse 17 of Isaiah 2. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Verse 18, and the idols he shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. Sounds like an earthquake. Isaiah 2:20, in that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he arises to shake terribly the earth. Isaiah 13:6, howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall faint, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Isaiah 13:9 continues, but behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Isaiah 34, verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and will bring down their strength to the earth.